Hi everyone, welcome back, and in this video I want to talk to you about what is undoubtedly the weirdest lens that I own. So it is this, hopefully you can see that, the Lensbaby Muse. Now, they don't sell these new anymore that I am aware of, so you tend to pick them up second hand. I picked this one up I think for around about £50. They generally seem to be going anywhere from around about £50 to £80 on the market at the moment. So what is it? Well, it is probably best described as a creative lens. It's certainly not a traditional lens that many people would know or expect to come across. It's a full frame lens. In this case I've got it for Nikon F mount and it's on a my D7000 here. The focal length of it is 50mm, so on my D7000, which is an APS-C camera, that equates to a 75mm, so semi-telephoto in this case, and it best described really as a kind of very primitive shift and tilt lens, because as you can see, hopefully, it's basically got a bellows system on it, and you focus it by pulling and pushing the bellows. It will focus down fairly close, around about 17 centimetres I think is the closest it will focus down to. So to use it, yeah, you effectively have to push or pull. Now, the actual guide you get with these suggests that you adopt a two-finger approach like this to do it, but I've never really got on with that myself, so I've tended to just use my left hand and push or pull with my left hand. But what you can also do, and this is where it becomes a kind of shift and tilt lens, is obviously you can also, because of its bellows mechanism, move it left and right and up and down, so you can get quite weirdly creative. And what that starts doing is, as a shift and tilt lens does, change where the point of focus is going to be, which leads to some quite interesting results. Now, it's a fairly nicely constructed lens. The front and the back parts of it are metal, and it's a kind of rubber bellows, well, not kind of rubber, it is a rubber bellows in the middle. Obviously there are no electrical connections, so let's have a metal mount on it, which is quite nice. And the lens elements in it, which I believe are a 4-element in there, are glass. So at its sharpest point, it can actually be quite sharp. And one of the unusual things about it is how you change the aperture, because it is a variable aperture lens. So nominally, it is an f2 lens, but to change the aperture, you basically get this little tool and holder with it, which on one end, if I pull the cover off, is a magnet, and that pulls aperture discs out. Now if I just pop the camera down a second, because what's in here is, so basically it looks like a film canister lid. What's in here is a series of aperture discs, and we've got f4, f5.6, f8, f11 and f22, and if you don't put one in, then basically it's acting as f2. Now, interestingly, as I'll show with a few shots now, if you leave it at f2, what you basically get is an awful lot of out of focus haloing around it, and it really is incredibly difficult to accurately focus with the squeezy mechanism at f2. And I'll just show now a pair of shots which show the difference between f2 and f8 on here, and how that kind of haloing and soft focus effect gets changed as a result of that. Now, you'll have to excuse the grain on the second shot. This was just shot in my office, so the ISO went through the roof on this, but focus more on the effect it gives. So what you can see with wider apertures, basically you get this glowing halo type effect around pretty much everything in the photograph. As you put in smaller and smaller apertures, it then clears that up and gets sharper, and you can, to a degree, get, if you're just pushing and pulling on the focus and nothing else, you tend to get some quite sharp results in the centre with a little bit of a kind of blurred edge, a kind of blurred vignette around everything. Now, in terms of how you put an aperture disc in when you want to change it, well, in the middle of the lens there are actually 3 magnets, so literally all you do is just drop it in there. It is that simple. I'll just take that out again. So you use the magnet to retrieve it, and then all you do to pop it in there is literally just throw it in there, and away you go. Now, these discs are quite light, so if you are using them outside, do be very careful, because there's a chance one could easily blow away. And as I say, when you've got it stopped down in terms of aperture, this is when you can use the pushy pulley and the side to side and up and down approach to change where your focal plane is in the image, much as you would be able to with a shift and tilt lens. And this can allow you to deliver some quite interesting results. You can't use the Lensbaby Muse as a traditional lens. It is, as I said at the opening of this video, very much a creative lens, and it has to be treated as such. And in that regard, it certainly does what you need it to do. It's not a lens for everybody, but it is one that, I must confess, I don't pick up as much as I probably should do, but every time I do pick it up and use it, I'm always intrigued by the effects I can get and the kind of looks that I can get out of it that I think I'd struggle to get out of just about any other type of lens. And keep in mind that all of these weird blurred areas and out of focusness and those kind of things, none of this is done in post. All of these are done using the camera itself and the lens itself. So it does give quite a wide range of options to you if you want to get a bit more creative and a little different with your photography. So as I say, it's definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, the weirdest lens I own. It is also one of the most fun lenses in a lot of ways that I own. And if you are looking for something that will increase your creativity or give you new options in terms of your creativity for a quite distinct style of photography, they are worth looking out. As I say, you can't buy them new anymore, certainly not that I'm aware of, but you can pick them up secondhand. They do crop up every now and again, and looking for this video, as I say, anywhere between about £50 and £80. But do make sure, if you buy one, that it's got this, which is the aperture removal tool, and all of the aperture discs with it, okay, because you're going to struggle to pick them up separately, so make sure it's got those in there. So yeah, that's the Lensbaby Muse, my weirdest lens. If you've got one weirder, do let me know down in the comments below, or if you've ever played around with the Muse, let me know your experience with it and your thoughts on it as well. And if you've enjoyed this video, please do hit the like button, and if you want to see more content like this, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be notified when new content gets uploaded. Thanks very much for watching, everyone. Take care. Bye.